Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Mezco Toyz 112 Collective MDX exclusive Blade figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Quick look at the side of the box. You can see it says Blade up at the top. Mezco Toyz by collectors for collectors at the bottom. Same thing on the opposite side. And a quick look at the front. Let's get this bad boy open and see what's what. Alright, here we go. Blade, aka the Daywalker. This is Mezco Toyz' third Blade. This will be number 3 for you if you're lucky, as the very first Blade release was a Toy Fair exclusive that only the press was able to grab. Well, I guess some regular people were able to grab it on the secondary market because a lot of press people sell their gratis after these press events. And this was a very hot commodity from Toy Fair 2019. 2019 seems like decades ago considering the 2020 that we're having, but 2019 was a very good year for collecting. In fact, Mezco gave us 2 exclusives for 2019. There was Blade, and then there was also their first Gomez. There was a lot of skepticism about whether or not we would get a bald Blade as a regular retail release, but here we are. The Toy Fair exclusive Blade and the first retail release of Blade had the same pants, but the shirts were different. The Toy Fair exclusive was a little more restrictive in the upper torso. That shirt was like really form-fitting. You got a little more posability out of the retail release. Collectors could never have enough looks for the characters that they love, so even after the 2 Blade releases, a lot of people were still wanting a vest for Blade and still missing that bald head. There was a lot of customizers that put out their own little vest kits and packs and stuff like that. Quite a few of them were really good too. But I suppose the third time is a charm. So on this third Blade, we get the bald head, we get the vest, we get different pants that are a little less restrictive. And I'm really feeling this deco. I like this a lot. So if you were not able to get the Toy Fair exclusive, you can actually put together some nice looks with the first retail release and the second retail release. So I'm a little late to the party, but normally I review stuff as I open it. You know, when I get around to opening something, then I'll review it. Even if there's a ton of reviews already out there, I'll give my take on it with my little spin. You know, I try to do my own thing. I don't watch anybody else's review of a particular figure before I review it. I may go back and watch somebody else's stuff after the fact. You know, I don't want to be influenced with anything that they've said. So when I'm reviewing stuff, I'm experiencing it for the first time right along with you guys and giving you my unbiased perspective on the figure in real time. So I'm not going to hold you up. This is dope. It's a really nice figure. I love the deco on this one. I think this is my favorite deco. I think once you actually get the trench coat on them, then you'll have the complete Blade that you want. You could swap between the bald head and the little flat top, and I think this is it right here. So the vest looks good. I already was looking to see if you can remove the vest. It doesn't look like this is meant to be removed. I'll inspect it more as I go through the review, but some of the same elements of the other Blades. You get, you know, these pouches and holster and all of this stuff on the side where you can add his various weapons and what have you. You can see the little clip back there where you can clip his sword. You see all the tattoos and stuff on his arm. Skin tone looks great. The face looks great. I don't really have any issues with the deco. I think he looks very good. And here I am already being ungrateful. I like the exposed arms as far as the being able to really articulate the arms and get them in some dynamic poses and what have you. But I would like to see the vest on a sleeved body. So I don't know. I got to see if I could really get this vest off. We'll see. But out of the package, he comes with 2 fists. Looks like the standard Mezco wrist pegs. He's got 2 hands with the trigger fingers extended. I'll double back to these. He's got a couple of hands that look like they could be utilized for some martial arts poses. That right hand has the pointer finger and the middle finger extended. And this one looks like some type of tiger claw strike or something like that. Maybe you can use it to hold or grab certain items as well. He's got another right hand that looks to have the trigger finger extended. Maybe the difference in hands are for the different guns, as far as the trigger being in a different position on the guns. And then he's got a left hand that looks like you can use to support his bigger weapons or put items in his hand with this particular sculpt too. He's got a right hand that's open with the fingers close together and the thumb tucked in, and a left hand that's open and cupped. Looks like this one can be utilized to hold his stakes. And his final set features a left hand that looks like he's giving a thumbs up symbol, but I think this could be utilized for his sword, and a right hand that is the same scope as the previous left hand, which also can be utilized to hold his stakes or boomerang blades or the sword. He's packed in with 4 identical sets of shades with the red lenses. So the first Toy Fair exclusive gave you 4 sets of shades with the black lenses and 4 with the red. But when the retail version was released, you only got 4 sets of the black. So here they are giving you the red. Again, giving you some of the stuff that you may have missed out on if you were not able to grab the Toy Fair exclusive. He's got 2 boomerang blades, which actually can be holstered on his left and right side. You can just kind of do one of these numbers so it can then fit into that holster like so. And there's the other on his right side. He comes with 6 of these silver stakes, 3 of which can be fitted onto the holster on the left thigh like so. And I like to line these up. I'm all about symmetry. He comes with a pistol where you can actually pull a slide back, which I always say is a great feature with the Mezco figures. It really adds to the playability and to the authenticity. And you can pull a slide back, and you can also pull out the magazine, and there's actually an extra magazine as well, so you get 2 magazines for the pistol. And obviously if you wanted to pose him putting the slide back or popping the magazine in or whatever you want, again, that just adds to the playability. So many options for displaying for A.C.B.A. And there he is holding the pistol with the magazine in his other hand. That looks great. And there's that. And he's got a firm grip on the pistol, fingers in the trigger groove, and the illustrious words of Chief Keef, bang bang. And like his other weapons, his pistol can be holstered there on his right leg. And I didn't even get a shot of him holding a boomerang blade, but you can see that there in his left hand, and that looks great. And there he is with the stakes. And no issue swapping any of the hands or putting any of the weapons into the hands. The hands, like on all Mezcos, are softer, pliable plastic, so getting the weapons into their hands is easy. It should also be noted that all of these are separate parts, and this is like a rubbery sort of overlay on these parts, on all of these actually, all of the holsters. So again, there's no issue moving them around or putting these items into the holsters. And one more close look at this head sculpt before we move into the second layer of clamshell packaging. So this is the neutral head with the shades on. And there's a look at the additional head sculpt showing his teeth, but showing no fang. But this looks good. Looks to be the same head that we got with the Toy Fair exclusive. So you got a neutral flat top head and angry open mouth teeth showing head, and then you got the same thing with the ball head with the Toy Fair exclusive. Yeah, I think this looks very good. And boom, there he is with the shades on with the angry face. That looks very cool. I like that a lot. It's looking very menacing. And in the second clamshell, he has some more weapons. So he has his sword, which looks good. You can see the handle, see a couple of little silver highlights on the handle. There's a grip. The blade looks very good. Kind of sharp to the touch too. No issues with him holding it. Yeah, my man is looking mean. And you can get him to hold it with 2 hands, but it's a bit of a challenge. You got to do some finagling. And although this is probably one of the best blades in terms of posability, you know, it is still a Mezco. It is still soft goods. It's clothing. You're not going to get the greatest posability. I'll go over all the articulation shortly, but there's that. And of course, he's packed in with a sheath for the sword. Looks like the same design we've been getting. This looks good. And you can clip that onto his back, but this I haven't liked since day one. I'm just not really a fan of how it clips on there. It's not sturdy enough for me. You know, it comes out too easy. I don't really know where to clip it on here. You know, it's just, it looks fine, but in terms of playability and posing them, it's just not really ideal. And then moving into some of his heavier weapons, he's got this automatic here. The magazine can be popped out. And you can see a bullet right there at the top of the magazine. You do get an extra magazine for this gun, and that looks cool. And he's also packed in with a shotgun, the working pump action. And you've got this little piece here, which you can actually take off if you want to. There's a little clip, and you can just pull this off if you don't want this feature on there. But this can be wrapped up around his arm for some extra support. And this is something that we've received before. And like I suspected, there are different trigger fingered hands for the different guns. So they work in relation to where the trigger groove is. So there's that, and then there he is holding the semi-automatic, whatever this is, or automatic, I don't know what this is. I guess it's supposed to be a machine gun. I don't think it's modeled after any real gun. So there's that. And like any gun-wielding, mass-murdering megalomaniac that Mezco puts out, they do pack in some cool muzzle flare effects with the guns. And I always give them props for this. You can see the bullet right at the tip of the flare there. And these always look awesome under some nice light, and it'll look so authentic in a shot. And for the record, it works with the pistol as well. I actually think I had it upside down, but there you go. And you get a more dramatic muzzle flare effect for the shotgun. This is cool, and you can also get this lit up with some great light in a display. And that's pretty much it in terms of accessories. Like all Mezco figures, he is packed in with a stand that I never use, so I won't be showing that. But moving forward in terms of articulation. So pretty standard articulation for Mezco. Head is on a ball joint. He'll look down pretty far. I don't know if I showed you, but what the neck peg looks like. But again, it looks like any other standard Mezco. You don't have any issue moving his head around left to right, pivot, full 360, whatever you want to do there. Shoulders on a ball joint. They'll come up very far. Obviously, he's not hindered by any clothing on his arms, so you will get the full range of motion on the arms. You can do a full 360, whatever you want to do there. There is a butterfly joint too at the shoulder, so it is a very good range. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, swivel and a hinge on the wrist. There is articulation in the upper torso. Again, it's a standard buck for them, and I did realize that you can pull this vest off, so I will get this off. There's some latches here, but you can move him at the upper torso, the abdomen, turn him left to right at the waist. I would assume there's a T-joint at the pelvis under there. The legs are going to come up just that far before you start to stress the material on the pants. You'll get a decent split though. There is an upper thigh swivel. There is a double jointed knee. There is a little rotation at the upper boot. There's a hinge. There's a swivel, a pivot on the foot. Not bad at all. Let's see what happens when I get this vest off. There we go. No issues taking that off. I don't see any damage on the shirt underneath. I'll show that in a second. But like I said, this is sort of like a rubbery material. So this is cool. And then there's a look at him without the vest. And everything is there through and through. You might have to break out your lint brush to make sure everything looks clean, but this is nice for a casual look. But you can see that the articulation is there in the upper torso. You do get some ab articulation, and you can turn them left to right at the waist. So I'm digging this. I like this a lot. I think that I will try to swap the vest onto another body, onto another blade. We'll see. Let me break out the first retail release. And there's the first retail release on the right with the flat top right next to the new MDX version. So you can see how those differ. You can see that their gloves differ, the pants. The regular retail release has what is supposed to be like leather pants. And then this newer version has the material pants. Looks like the boots are the same. Some of the holsters are the same. So yeah, they look good. Both look good. I'm happy to have both, but I'd like to see how this vest looks on the first retail release. There's the first retail release with the MDX vest, and I'm liking that. I'm looking at these latches here on the side, and I think it's going to be a pain in the ass to try to get this closed again, so I might just leave it open, but I do like the way this looks. I think they did a good job here. I'm wondering if I do remember that the trench coat is pretty fitted, so it may be a tight squeeze to get the trench coat on over the vest, but I will try it. And yeah, it's possible to get the jacket on, but I would not recommend it because this is protruding in the back where you would clip the sheath to the sword, and that's going to damage the jacket for sure. Not to mention that it's hard to get up over his shoulders, so I wouldn't recommend that you do this. You're going to mess up this jacket. And again, this is a very form-fitting coat that they packed in with the retail version. And obviously you can do whatever you want in terms of mixing and matching parts. So I have the hands from the MDX version here on the first retail release version, and the bald head from this newer version, the vest, and again, there's a lot of playability between the three if you have all three, or even just the two. And the flat top head on the MDX body, that looks cool. And there he is with Popeye's beanie. And that also looks very cool. Feeling that. And there's the Stealth Gomez body with that vest and those gloves with the head from the first retail release. And if you want to go Stealth Blade, I guess you could. That works out okay. with either head too. And you can make this work, but it looks a little awkward because of the collar, the turtleneck that the Stealth Gomez has. It's being bunched down underneath the vest here, so the vest is not actually going down as far as it can. I mean, I guess you probably could take your time and get the collar of the shirt up through the vest, but it looks like the head is not sitting on there right on this one now. I don't know, it looks weird with the smaller, more form-fitting vest. But you could make it work. You could definitely finesse something. And you can use the hands that come with blade and swap them onto this body as well. And a couple quick size comparisons and I'm going to get up out of here. But I will do some more swaps and kit bashes and things as I open up with some displays of blade. But on the far left is the Mezco Redpool Deadpool. On the far right is the PX exclusive cable. I believe that's the PX version. And you can see how those guys stack up next to both blades. And there's the Mezco Logan on the far left, and on the far right is the first 112 collector figure released from Mezco, which is the Dark Knight Batman. It's a shame they didn't really go deeper into characters from that. I would have loved to get a Robin from that particular comic book. And I left Logan in there. Got some Stone Cold Killers here. We got the first release of Punisher on the far right. Eat your heart out. And on the left is the Tiger Stripe Wolverine, and on the right is the, I don't think this is the PX Cyclops. No, this was the regular release of Cyclops. The PX was the older, like 80s costume. But I don't like either one of those Cyclops figures. But Blade has definitely has had quite a few run-ins with the X-Men and adventures with the X-Men. Alright, I gotta go. They're doing construction outside of my window. They're screwing up everything, but this is a great release here from Mezco. I think they did a really good job. I don't really have too many complaints, if any at all. Maybe just in terms of the mobility, you know, because of some of the soft goods. They pretty much just gave you more options and more playability if you were able to pick up the other releases of Blade. I didn't get a chance to give you any looks at the Toy Fair exclusive because I don't have it here with me, unfortunately. So I did review that figure though, so you can go back and look at the old review, and then I guess you can imagine how some of those swaps may look. And one other thing I forgot to note was that the first retail release had an option where you can clip the where you can put the clip for the sheath to his sword on the outside of the jacket because it could be clipped on with a magnet. So I forgot to check out how that might look actually. So I'll do that as a bonus for another video. I'll get around to that. But again, I think this is a really good release here from Mezco. It's one I would definitely recommend. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell down there. And until next time, peace.